Two things I'll say about this show right off the bat. It started hot, and the crowd was certainly loud and into it for most of the night. But given what city they were in, that's not a shock at all. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Smackdown from the Climate Pledge Arena in beautiful Seattle, Washington. Parts of it are beautiful, and parts of it, you don't even want to go there if you fucking live in the area. Nevertheless, it's an overbuilt city with a whole bunch of traffic and everything, and there's cool people there, but goddamn, Seattle, it was never designed for the expansion they've tried to do there. Fuck. I hope if you were in attendance, you had a blast. I wasn't there. I'm trying to scale back on the amount of wrestling shows that I go to, and the last Seattle wrestling show I went to was the New Japan Strong tapings in January of this year, which was a lot of fun. And I enjoyed going to the last WWE show I was at, which was almost 4 years ago when Elias angered the Seattle crowd so goddamn much, saying it's like having a basketball team in Seattle. That was a great goddamn moment to be there for the boos. I felt them in my feet. I did not go to Stomping Grounds in Tacoma, which is, of course, where they fist ass and take names. And after that, of course, the pandemic hit, and now they come back up for SmackDown. And yes, things have improved under the Triple H regime, but I decided not to go because, really, it takes too long to get to Seattle, and it is what it is. And honestly, besides the six-man tag and a couple other moments, this is a show I was fine to just sit at home and watch. So we get recaps of Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Actually, we get like pretty much the full-on ending that proves that they just don't see Drew McIntyre as the guy. I get why Roman Reigns retained. That's fine, but the ending and the aftermath that they shouldn't have broadcast, but the cock didn't want to cut its feed. You didn't want to cut the cock feed. Ouch. That sounds painful. You don't want to split the cock feed. Splitting the cock sounds very painful. It made Drew McIntyre just seem goofy. And yes, I know that that kind of shit happens off camera all the time. That's cool. Still shouldn't have been broadcast to a worldwide audience. But then again, they didn't cut the live feed on a premium live event or a premium taped event, so nevertheless, no Pat McAfee for a few months because he's doing the college game day stuff. And you know what? Good for him. He's got a lot of deals. He wants to do this shit. That's fine. It makes him feel more special. But unfortunately, we have 2 times the Corey Graves each week. That's fucking bad. Corey Graves is already abysmal to listen to on Raw, and now we have to listen to him on SmackDown. You couldn't have called up Nigel McGuinness. You couldn't have called up Wade Barrett. You couldn't have called up somebody. Fucking hell, we don't need 2 times of Corey Graves on commentary. Now, if you like Corey Graves, that's fine. Michael Cole, though, yes, he's got Vince McMahon out of his goddamn ear. He doesn't have the brain parasite there anymore, but god damn it, Michael Cole is just not good on commentary. At his best, he's okay. He's been doing it too long. He still sounds kind of robotic, and then he just gets where he's screaming like crazy. We need to get some fresh blood on commentary. So, speaking of fresh blood, it seems like they're going to go for blood in this upcoming match, because we're probably going to run it back at Extreme Rules. Sheamus, Pete Durdoon, and Ridge Holland against Imperium. Walter Gunther, Kaiser, and Vinci. Give this an extreme stipulation, a street fight, whatever. Give it something. And these 6 could probably tear it up and just have a goddamn blast. This was the best match of the night, easily. It's given a lot of time. I wish we could have seen more of it, but they decided to put a couple ad breaks right next to each other. We barely got to see any of the action until like after the second ad break. But at one point, Imperium wants to purify the sport of wrestling to implement the final phase of their plan. They might as well have said that. At least there's no final solution yet. So, crowd was into it. Huge lariat from behind. Then we got a melee, massive melee. Because, of course, we got a melee. Then we got the European Axis Bomb 1, 2, 3. And there you go. Imperium gets the victory. You know what? I was fine with that. Good match. Good opener. Good stuff. Unfortunately, it was all downhill from here to the point where they practically took this show out behind the shed and old yellered it. So, we get a tribute graphic to Queen Elizabeth. Just read up on Queen Elizabeth and read up on that regime and you will know why I don't feel bad at all. Sure, she was there for a while. Yeah, great. Princess Diana just said, "Ha, you're up here. No, you belong in hell." Boop. So anyway. And the Usos, I don't think the Usos drove there. I hope they didn't, but they would have blended in just fine with most of the drivers in Seattle. You wouldn't have been able to tell the goddamn difference because everybody weaves in and out of lanes because nobody knows how to fucking drive there. The Usos and Sammy do their same usual stuff. I know some people are into this. I'm not. They introduced Solo Sikoa. You come for my family, I come for you. Ha, lol. And he says Solo Sikoa is here to stay. Solo will shine on the main roster. As long as they don't fuck it up with him and they present him seriously, this will work fine. Here's Drew with a chair. Sammy took the bullet for the bloodline. And then we reference that a little bit later. And then next we get Raquel Gonzalez and Aaliyah. Raquel Gonzalez, Rodriguez, whatever, against Toxic Attraction. JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. My God, Aaliyah's rotten is what I wrote down. I know she's trying. Oh my gosh, she's trying, but her wrestling belongs in institution. God damn it, JC is a delight, making the most of any TV time she gets. And then we get a bomb on JC. 1, 2, 3. Raquel's not interesting. It's pretty bad that Raquel's the better of the two on her team, but nevertheless. Recaps of Ronda and Pierce. I'm surprised they're not going with that match at Extreme Rules. But anyway, we get Zaya, Sonya, Lacey making her entrance. Lacey Evans is back. I don't know why. Natty gets a pretty good pop. And then Ronda sort of gets a decent reaction. And then they get a shot of Liv's box. Stop thinking about it, Kira. I know you're thinking about it. You stop it. Get some help. This match also needed some help because despite the fact that there was a little bit of talent in and also Lacey, you have Sonya, Natty, Ronda, Zaya, and Lacey, 5-way elimination match, and I think the entrances were longer than the match because Ronda ended up winning. And Ronda's probably going to end up beating Liv, unless what I think is that Sonya is going to cost Ronda the match, and then we're going to have that feud, and Liv gets a bit of a longer reign. I hope, because honestly, I don't need to see Shayna as champion. I don't need to see Ronda as champion anymore. I don't need to see that. But the Usos fire up Solo, and then Sammy says, hey, we should all be out there. Well, no, he's got to do this on his own. And then Sammy antagonizes them, and they say, fine, we'll be out there. Whatever, make it make sense, as the kids say. Speaking of not making sense, the Maximum Male Models and Los Lotharios with Max and Maxine Dupree against the Hit Row Profits. I'm going to tell you what I wrote down for this. This match is a series of crimes against professional wrestling. Where were the Seattle PD to basically arrest Triple H for what he did? Okay, either repackage the models or release them. This is bad. This is bad television. Hit Row's a fucking abomination as well. But goddamn, I understand you need to add some entertainment, but this is stupid. Hit Row won. The match didn't mean anything. And this served no purpose. What an entertaining match. Cole deserved to be put in the Puget Sound and held under until, he apologized for that. So anyway, Seattle, it's your lucky night. You've got Otis. We are not lucky for that. We are not lucky to get a thumb soldier from Spy Kids. And then Gable, tried to antagonize the crowd by mentioning the Sonics. He got a brief smidgen of a reaction. Some boos. But the problem is, Elias did it better. Braun comes out and destroys Otis and Gable. And then Drew, he's interviewed by Kayla, and Kayla mentioned the word and emphasized the word satisfying while staring at his sizable sword, not the one in his hand. So anyway, Raw, the women's tag titles will be defended when Raquel and Aaliyah take on Damage Control. Dakota and Io, please let this reign of terror end. I know it's only been a couple weeks, but it's been bad. And then the 4-way rematch from Raw that Braun interrupted will actually be on Smackdown next week. And then Braun will interrupt that. Speaking of interruptions, the main event was practically interrupted by everybody. I think even popcorn vendors and janitors interfered. Drew versus Solo Sikoa, Drewkoa as it were. It wasn't bad, but then we got a melee and interference, and then suddenly we went with a black and white filter because Karrion Kross decided to attack Drew McIntyre and lock on the Cross jacket. And why did they go to a black and white filter? Probably to line up Kross's views, because if you know anything about his Q-fuck mindset, he agrees with Bobby Fish and the former Drake Wirtz. That actually kind of makes sense. Take it back before, when there were colored drinking fountains, because that's probably what Karrion's thinking. And Fox probably approves of it. Yeah, those were horrible fucking accusations, but the stuff with Kross isn't good. It's not. I'm not against the guy making money, but he has had no buzz since coming back. They are trying everything to make him interesting, and it's not good. It's not good at all. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.